Alexander conquered the world faster than anyone in history, and that should have been the end of the story. But it wasn't, because Alexander never asked how far he could go. He asked what happens when there is no enough. At 20 years old, he inherited a throne. At 30, he had broken every boundary the world believed in. Greece, Persia, Egypt, India. Each victory erased the previous one. Each conquest made the next feel smaller. Alexander didn't chase territory, he chased momentum. Stopping meant facing a question he avoided his entire life. Who am I when there is nothing left to conquer? From the beginning, Alexander was told he was destined for greatness. Not metaphorically, literally. He was raised to believe he wasn't fully human, that his blood was mixed with God's, that limits were for other people, and belief is a dangerous fuel. It doesn't run out, it accelerates. Every city he entered fell faster than expected. Every army broke sooner than planned. Not because Alexander was invincible, but because the myth arrived before he did. Fear traveled faster than his soldiers, and Alexander understood that. He adopted foreign customs, wore Persian armor, spoke as if he belonged everywhere and nowhere. He didn't want to be Macedonian or Greek or king. He wanted to be universal, something eternal. But there is a price for becoming larger than life. The further Alexander went, the more alone he became. His generals feared him. His friends couldn't reach him. His soldiers followed, but no longer understood why. Because ambition without a finish line turns into obsession, and obsession doesn't recognize rest. When his army finally refused to march further east, Alexander didn't argue. He listened, and that may have been the most human moment of his life. Not surrender, but exhaustion. The world had ended. Not geographically, but psychologically. There was nowhere left to project the myth. And that's when the silence began. Alexander returned west as a ruler without direction, an empire without structure, a legend without a future. And then, suddenly, he died. No battlefield, no enemy, no final speech. Just a room, a body, and confusion. The greatest conqueror in history died without being conquered. And the moment he was gone, the empire fractured, not slowly, instantly. Because Alexander never built a system, he built momentum, and momentum dies with the person who creates it. His generals tore the empire apart, borders collapsed, alliances vanished. What remained wasn't unity, but vacuum. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Alexander didn't fail because he went too far. He failed because he never planned to stop. He wasn't trying to rule the world. He was trying to outrun himself, to prove that limits didn't apply to him. But limits don't disappear. They wait. Alexander proved how far a single human can go, and also how fragile everything becomes when one person holds too much motion, too much meaning, too much myth. The world remembers him as the Great, but history rarely asks the more dangerous question. What happens when greatness has no boundary? Alexander found the edge of the world. He just didn't know what to do once he reached it.